I've got a small nursing home that's located in one of my little small towns in my district, and they had a cyber attack. And we called in CISA. We started going through checking the boxes, and the FBI came in. And what actually ended up happening is when the FBI came on board and CISA were working in parallel with each other, it turned into a proverbial fist fight. Now, who was in charge? And as this thing kind of inched along, the result was that the nursing home didn't get any results. And you mentioned earlier, if you follow the chain of command, there inevitably has to be one leader, one person in charge. And the net has been cast out very wide, given just kind of the proverbial threat when it comes to cyber risk, cyber threat, cyber attacks. Can you give me some refinement on the best course of action on how to decrease that problem set?
First, thanks for bringing that up. And I think you highlight that rural healthcare right now and small healthcare facilities are probably the greatest risk we have in the utility area. And the reason I say that is that if they get a ransomware attack, most of them have about 5 or 6 weeks of float. That is, if they don't end the ransomware attack and fully recover their systems within 4, 5, 6 weeks, they could be out of business, and then the community loses its health care. So the first thing I'll tell you is HHS, Health and Human Services, has to do a much better job supporting these guys left of boom. And one of the things we're pushing hard there is like a fractional CISO program. What that means is I guarantee that hospital that you're talking about or clinic could not afford a full-time CISO to prevent this ransomware and recover from it.
Correct.
What we need to do is have a program where they can access a pot of CISOs who come in, who've done ransomware hundreds of times, help that hospital get back on its feet and recover, not just pay the ransomware, that's the easy part. Mm-hmm. It's restructuring the systems. But you need specific CISOs to do that, but you can only afford about 10 days of that CISO, not 365 days of his or her $400,000 salary. So to do this, we need a virtual fractional CISO program for rural healthcare. So that's the first thing I do. That stuff you'd plan left of boom. Once and you're asking me about the cluster that was right of boom.
Yes, sir.
That cluster right of boom that starts with the White House. That starts with the National Security Memorandum that clearly states who's responsible and who's in charge. Now, a very localized one like that, it can be done by, there'll be some who have a better regional footprint, but a larger one, it's clearly to me, it's CISA. But you have to have a rule set for it, just like you and I had rule sets operating in the Navy. And with that kind of like structured command, I think we're going to continue to have failures like you saw. But I would say there's things we can do left of boom to prevent these from being the small business killing events that they are.
Yeah, because that facility was networked. So not only did it touched them all, it took them to a knee. And thank you for that. Ms. Walden, I thought your opening statement was amazing, very point-driven, and I appreciate that. You were digital crimes unit, you oversaw digital crimes unit. Can you give me some background and finding information on exactly what that entailed? Because where I'm going with this is, we talk about Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, but make no mistake about it, there's some proverbial bad actors in the continental United States as well. And in my district, and I represent a small portion of Harris County, and sex trafficking is actually in Houston, sex trafficking is the #1 city in the country. Can you kind of talk me through, because what I would like to do is, we're in 2025. There's just no way in hell we're going to go back to analog. I mean, the digital revolution is here. We're not going to get away from it. And it's as great as it is, it's terrifying in a sense. Can you give me a course of action moving forward that this committee and this administration can jump on top of to decrease that problem set?
Sure. First, I want to correct something for the record. You've given me a promotion. I was not in charge of the digital crimes unit, but I was.
Yeah, you're welcome. Happy birthday.
And I was responsible specifically for going after the ransomware threat.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Platform, which was an incredible mission set. If you can imagine the large enterprises like Microsoft, or like Google, like
yes, ma'am.
et cetera, see millions of signals a day. And they have within their data set a lot of information that allows us to see when there's a threat actor. CrowdStrike can do the same thing. And we can go after them using legal means, which is what I was in charge for, but also technical means, cleaning up our own networks, because cybersecurity risk was borne by the larger enterprises, should be, and they need to buy them down for all of its customers. So what I would suggest is that we employ policy solutions, or this committee can employ policy solutions to shift that cybersecurity risk burden to those that are more capable of buying them down. That means Microsofts of the world should be coordinating with CISA and sharing information back and forth. Microsofts of the world should be able to identify when there are threat actors to immediately deliver that information. And I don't mean to just pick on
Yes,
them,
ma'am. I got it.
but you know what I mean.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.